Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, NerdModon, and today we have yet again another episode of Would You Rather. This is a video series where I'll be going over approximately 5 questions and answering them in the most appropriate manner. So with the rules and guidelines reviewed, let's start off the episode. So of course, coming in at our first Would You Rather question, I have, would you rather listen to only one song for the rest of your life or listen to no music for the rest of your life? Now, of course, in this particular instance, I'm going to listen to only one song for the rest of my life, considering that I do enjoy music by itself. Now, in this case, it's going to be a very limited selection of music, but of course, I'm definitely going to want to have something to listen to, especially in my free time. Coming in at our second question, I have, would you rather get killed by your boyfriend/girlfriend or get killed by your best friend? Now, of course, when it comes down to it, I feel like I would much rather get killed by my girlfriend, considering that I feel like that would just be a little bit better. I mean, of course, I don't want to be stabbed in the back by my best friend. Obviously, I have a high respect for them, and in many cases, they're probably my best bro when it comes down to it. However, that does not mean that I don't have a ton of respect for my girlfriend, considering that is why we are in a committed relationship when it comes down to it. I feel like it would just be a little bit easier, and hopefully we'd be able to come to terms on how I wish to go about dying, but I'm hoping that it's not a brutal murder where I'm being stabbed to death, considering that that would be extremely painful, and in many cases, I think I'd rather just take one to the dome, because I feel like that would be a quick and easy way to go. Coming in at our third question, I have, would you rather be deeply insulted by a stranger or be slapped across the face? Now, I feel like being slapped across the face would be a little bit better of an option for me personally, considering that I take a lot of the stuff that can be deeply insulted, especially aimed at me, a lot more to heart than maybe most people do. And that direct type of communication really dwells on me in many cases, and it can last anywhere from hours to even days in many cases, considering that I sit there and dwell on what they had to say and try to make myself a better person in many cases. However, I kind of just dwell on the information too much, and it really kind of gets me down. So I guess when it comes down to it, I would much rather take a slap across the face, considering that it's only going to take a few seconds to kind of brush off that overall pain, and in many cases it's only a one-time deal from the sound of it. Coming in at our fourth question, I have, would you rather always have mud in your shoes or always have a pebble in your shoe? Now, when it comes down to it, I would much rather have mud in my shoes, considering that it would give me a little bit of a different sound, especially when it comes down to walking. It would sound like I have water in my shoes, or in this case mud, and I feel like the texture wouldn't be too bad. However, on the receiving end, you also have a pebble in your shoe, which is definitely not going to be very enjoyable. In many cases, it's going to be consistently stabbing you in the bottom of the foot, and of course not all pebbles were made equal, so of course some of them are going to be sharper than others. And finally, coming in at our fifth would you rather question, I have, would you rather eat 25 toenails or snort a tablespoon of cinnamon? Now, I feel like the answer is pretty easy when it comes down to it, considering that I would much rather snort a tablespoon of cinnamon than eat 25 toenails, considering that I'm going to imagine that they are not my toenails. And if that does happen to be the case, that is absolutely horrendous, and I'm definitely going to oppose that with all of my might. However, on the opposing end of the spectrum, you just have to simply snort a tablespoon of cinnamon, and for the most part, I feel like that would be a little bit easier than having to eat somebody else's toenails. But anyway, guys, when it comes down to it, this has been this episode of Would You Rather. Of course, if you guys would like to recommend some questions for the next episode, feel free to let me know in the comments below, considering that I do take your submissions as priority one when creating these episodes. As well as if you guys would like to answer the questions for yourself, feel free to let me know your responses in the comments below, considering that I am very interested to see how you guys would respond to these specific questions. But anyway, guys, this has been this episode of Would You Rather, and until the next one, this has been NMO, and I'm going to be signing out, guys. Peace.